Hello, good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of Dating and Marriage Question and Answers. Question of the week on the African Town Hall online television. Every week at this time, we'll bring to you the question of the week, which is a selection of one of the key questions that have been asked on our group, which is trending depending on how much response people are giving it and how critically it appears for the benefit of the rising generations. And members of the Dating and Marriage Question and Answers group on Facebook will bring it up here to discuss it. Today we are reaching you through three channels. One, the African Town Hall page on Facebook, the Dating and Marriage Question and Answers group on Facebook, and on our YouTube channel, the African Town Hall. We invite you to join us and make the responses that are necessary for this critical question that one of us have asked. The question for the week is, please, who is to decide how many children a couple should have, the man or the woman? This is a very vital question in relationships. And our intent on Dating and Marriage Question and Answers group on Facebook is to help those who are dating, courting, or married have the best relationship ever. That's our intention. And that's why this group was set up. We are so glad to see many of you already viewing. We welcome you to the program today. We want you to do two critical things for us for the advancement of this project, which is a project to help you. I set these things up that the young and young adults, and especially young marriages, even old marriages that are struggling, might draw from my experience and their parties as a relationship coach to improve their lives. Let me tell you a little bit about myself before we go on. Um, I am a relationship coach, and I have written three books on relationships. One is Dating 101 Principles and Practice, or How to Find Who to Marry, which you can see the picture in this broadcast panel. And then the other one is Foundation for Joyful Relationships. And for those who are already married, Foundation for Joyful Relationship is critical for you. But everyone in any form of relationship need Foundation for Joyful Relationship. Those who are in dating relationship, Dating 101 is good for you because that will help you know the type of things you can do in a dating relationship to make it worthwhile and how you can date more appropriately. And then the other book I have written on relationship is Wrong Reasons for Getting Married. Many of us know that a number of people get married for diverse reasons. There are good reasons for getting married, and there are wrong reasons for getting married. And why we are concentrating on wrong reasons for getting married is to ensure that you marry and have good, great benefit from your marriage. Marriage is ordained of God. It is the right thing. One of the most sensitive and sentimental emotions of life, sex and family and children, can only be done appropriately in a marriage relationship. So it's such a critical thing, and I have devoted a lot of attention to study the relationships, and I have a relationship of my own that is thriving with my wife and my children, and then my friends and relations and business associates. So I'm learning every day practically from that and want to transfer that knowledge to you. So that's my calling. So many people, but I've seen so many people come here to view, which excites me. But I want you to increase my excitement by leaving your comments on the chat bar. Even if the only thing you said is, yes, I'm here and I can hear you loud and clear, that will be good. Okay. So while you are doing that, let's take a brief break to share with you something that I think will improve your life in another way. This is about a minute or so video that had to do with the African Town Hall ebook club. You will learn why the ebook and how you can join. Welcome with me to this commercial break of the African Town Hall ebook club. The African Town Hall ebook club is a program of Project 30 Before 30 International, which was built up to help the rising generations of Africa learn personal development, personal empowerment, and have the power to midwife the African Renaissance. As a way to help the rising generations grow in personal development, which is increased awareness of their capabilities and capacities and skills, both the skills they have and the ones they don't have, and all the opportunities that open to them. We created the African Town Hall ebook club to help in leadership training, entrepreneurship training, and above all in personal development, which is so critical. So we invite you to review the African Town Hall ebook club and be able to find out what you can do to become a member. You can find out details of the African Town Hall ebook club on our website, www.theafricantownhall.com/ebook club. Or if you go to the africantownhall.com the website, you can find a way to where to click a page you can click and it will take you to the ebook club. Now, we want many people are still showing up here, which excites me, I must say. So I invite you to please like, show love, click on this link and forward it to your friends so that they can join you to watch. And then above all, leave a comment that tells us that you're here. You can hear us loud and clear. And also ask a question and answer the question that we have today. Remember the question we have today, which we will now have a chance to do something about, is please, who is to decide on how many children a couple should have? Is it the woman or the man? This is a great question. And let me share my own thoughts and opinion about this. And we're expecting your own opinion. We want to know what you feel about this question. We want to know what you would have advised this person. Should it be your sister or your brother who approaches you to ask this question? So we want you to share that comment here on what you would have answered them as a comment for us. We have seen over 30 something people watching, but we have only seen 2 comments from one person. That is from George Blue Kelly, who said, "Great job." So, but we need more comments. We need more comments, and we need to, that will help this to become what we want it to be. We need these comments on this. We need an answer. George, if you are still hearing us, we need your contribution to this question. Who should decide on how many children a couple should have, the man or the woman? Okay. While I'm waiting for your comments and your own answers and questions and responses to this, I'd like to say that I learned something many years ago when I was researching on dating and marriage. I was carrying out a really seriously detailed study on dating and marriage, and I learned from this teacher on relationships. He said, this question is so critical, how many children you should have. and he wants the couple, the partners in a dating relationship, not those in courtship, not those who are already married, but those in a dating relationship to decide about this ahead of time. I mean, this is a great sign. This is a chance for you to know how serious this is. That is, his recommendation. This is an author on relationships. He said people who are in a dating relationship should decide why still dating. In fact, he recommends that we should decide how many children a couple should have on the first day of dating. And people will say, why are you talking children when we are just beginning? And his response marveled me, and I love it. And I would like to share his response with you. In his response, he said, come, now let's say this issue, like for whoever asks us this question, this is a big issue for him or her. That's what it means. This is a big issue. And then, well, after I share my thoughts, I'll go back to the Facebook page and pull up some of the things, the responses that people have given, so we can compare them. Now, he said, assuming you are dating someone and then you kept this behind and you dated, then you are in love, and then you want to marry, and then this issue comes up and you don't have a resolution, or you already married and then this becomes an issue. I hope that the person who asked this question is not already married, because if he or she is, then it means there's already trouble on ground. And one of the things that we want to help you avoid from this program is to avoid having to get into trouble with your relationship, but to have a way to make your relationship a relationship of joy, because many things have been decided in advance. And what this my teacher in relationship said, that we should decide how many children we want to have during the dating relationship. And that is wonderful. I feel so good learning that that is something one could do. Okay, I know that when I was dating my wife, Ada, we talked about, before we got married, we talked about children and how many children, and my wife wanted several, and I said I wanted only one, and we kept talking. At a point, we made a decision that um, if God blesses us with children, we will raise those children. Then ultimately, I think God Himself decided to answer that properly. He didn't give me the one I wanted. He didn't give Sister Mary the 10 she wanted. But at least we have three great children that we enjoy our relationship with them so much. So if you check, that's like a balance. And it came because we made a decision, and then we talked and agreed that, okay, let God prevail on the matter of what the number of children we will have is. And then if you make that decision, two of you are the ones that made it. So my first response to this in a direct way is that it is both of you that will make that decision. It is not just the woman, and it is not the man. The man cannot impose it and should not impose it. And the woman should not decide it all by herself and shouldn't stick and say it must be this. It is something that you talk in a conversation. And if you are talking about this before marriage, better. If you're already married, it's still okay. You can still talk about this and come to an agreement. But please talk about it. And then each one of you should be open to listen to whatever ideas and thoughts and reasons each one has for desiring any number of children in the marriage relationship. Okay. So it should be a discussion. I want before we continue, I have other thoughts I want to share on this. I want to invite. I've seen a lot more people join. I want you to leave comments. I want you to ask additional questions. I want you to answer this particular question, because that is how we can expand this discussion and make it worthwhile for the members of Dating and Marriage Question and Answers group of Facebook who have asked this question. And they brought this question to us because they are struggling with it. And as members of this group, the best thing we can do for ourselves is to help one another. In fact, that is why the group was formed. So we invite you to leave your comments, leave additional questions, and also answer this question on the screen, which is, please, who is to decide how many children a couple should have, the man or the woman? And my own personal response, I have said, is both. And I recommend that those who are still in dating relationships should decide it now. They should talk about this now and make that decision together. That decision can be 1, 10. That decision can also be let God prevail. Let whatever number that comes, we will bear them. And once 2 of you agreed with that, then no problem. But if you or 2 of you did not agree, and then the children kept coming because each time you have intimacy and your wife is pregnant, or you got get pregnant and the children kept coming, then you're going to be in trouble if you didn't decide that you want God to prevail on the matter, to be the one that will decide for you. But you can also decide. And when you decide the number you want and you get that number, you will now ask God to please allow the number become the what he wants to prevail for you. You need his support, because you cannot stop having intimacies because you have gotten the number of children you want, because intimacy is a natural situation within a marriage relationship. So you will not say, let's stop having intimacy because we have now had the number of children we want. But because this is a dynamic situation, this is a situation that calls for discussion, then that discussion will be very important. One of the good things about discussing this and having an agreement is that if you agree on something together, uh, touching on a point as serious as the number of children you have, because God is in charge of these things, he has a way of influencing the thoughts of the 2 of you. He has a way of also bringing to pass whatever 2 of you agreed together. That agreement that you have, the person that will sanction it, that will make it work, is God. I'm so very grateful that more and more people keep popping up, viewing this great program. I'm excited about your presence. Thank you very much for coming. But I want you to do one more thing for us. Please leave a comment. Once you come here, we want you to show that you're here. If you couldn't say anything but just say, I am here, that will be good. But we also would like to have your thoughts on what is being said. That's number one. Secondly, we want you to answer this question. Please, who is to decide how many children a couple should have, the man or the woman? So that we need you to contribute to it, because your contribution will make this engaging. It will help support the cause. It will help support what we're trying to achieve, which is to help everyone, all our members, to be able to find what they must do to improve their relationship. We have, I think that we had 2 previous comments. We have 4 more. That is great, but we need more than that, because we have over 30 people who have appeared here. So we need more of your comments. Your comments will show your presence. Your comment will sustain this work. It will help you to keep growing. Your comments will support what we are doing. Now, you now see the importance of your comments. So we want to have you to have it coming. The likes and the love signs that you show, we have 2 love signs already. We need more likes and more loves on this. So 2 things you must do as soon as you come to this program: like it, love it, leave a comment, ask a question, answer the question that is on the board, that is on the screen. And also, if you have other issues you would like to be treated, you would like to appear on this program, you can share it on the chat bar there with us, and then we will be able to take it up. So please keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming, keep your answers to this question coming. Okay, now let me take a few minutes to go review on Facebook some of the answers that have been provided by our people, by members who have been able to respond to this particular question that is asked. So I want to pull up the answers they gave, and then all of us will review them together and use it to improve what we know. That's what I want us to do right now. So the question is again, who should decide how many children a couple should have, the man or the woman? And I want to pull up some of the answers that that have been given already, so that we can join hands to explain. Okay, I have Victoria Chile Anyanwu, who says both. Thank you. That is that's my position. that it is both of you that need to sit together to decide what will happen. So let's pull up more comments that have come since we on this thing, because this is posted. Right now we have 98 comments on it. So I hope I'll be able to pull up those 98 comments, or at least some of them. We may not be able to go through all of them, but at least some of those comments. Let's get to some of those comments and then pull them up and then discuss them here further. So the question is, who should decide whether the man or the woman, which one of them should decide how many children a couple should have? I'm having quite some struggles trying to pull this up, but hopefully I'll be able to do that. Let me try and see. Okay, previous comments. And we have this one from Obioma Ozochukwu. He says both will have to agree. Exactly. I think Ifeanyi Nazodo is trying to crack fun here. He said Nami. And one editor, Majamite, said both. Esther Bebu said both. Then Jake said both under a very understandable agreement. Perfect. Kehinde Baramosi said both. Favor Yahen says there must be an agreement. Exactly. And Yetundeni, the one that have to take responsibility. Okay. And Messi Oriango said both. Then Didi Francois Jombe said, a situation where both decisions doesn't tally, what will especially the woman do? Great. This is the kind of things I want, because when we get this, it helps us to expand the discussion. Now, Didi is saying a situation where both decisions did not agree. Let's say they have talked and they don't have an agreement. What will both parties do, or what will the woman do? Please, this we want to throw this back to you as a fresh part of this question, and this is so important. Let's say you have talked and you have talked and you have talked and there's no agreement. Well, and Didi is asking, what will the woman do? I have one answer, and this answer will be a pre-marriage situation kind of answer. If you're already married, then I won't recommend this. But if you're not married, you are just dating, and you talk about this, as I recommend you talk about it during dating, and it's not working out, I recommend that you stop the relationship. Yes. Cut that relationship as tactfully as possible, and don't become enemies. But it is just that one of the services of dating has just been provided for you. Dating provides you the service of information, the service of decision and agreement. So now you have tried to make that use the dating for what it is for, and the result it provided for you is that this marriage is not going to work, because you won't be able to agree. If you're already married, then whoever is having a disagreement as to numbers should listen to what we are saying here. And what we are saying here is you must agree. And that agreement can be 1, 10, let God decide. So you have to do that. It's critical that you have an agreement. It gives both of you a peace of mind. Sometimes, even if you agree on a number, you will discover that you will exceed that number at some point, or you may not even get to that number. So, but the fact that there's an agreement in the way you pattern your life, then what it means is that at that point, whatever result that comes later, two of you will face it. So mark this. You may agree on number. You may agree on 1, then you have 5. You may agree on 10, then you have 1 or 2. You may say, let God decide, then you have none, or you have 1, 2, 10, or whatever. But what is important is that this is talked about and a form of agreement reached. I have many friends who they have stopped having children for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden the wife gets pregnant again, and they say, hey, well, we were not expecting this. Yes, at times these things are not all our calling, but the benefit of that agreement is that it will give each person a chance to feel treasured, to feel that you are in that together, that it is a partnership, it's not a dictatorship. Okay. Then there's something I want those who are listening now to do. I need those who are listening now to please the respond to the question that Didi Francois Kaljombe asked. What of a situation where both doesn't tally, their decision doesn't tally? What will especially the woman do? So if you have additional thoughts on this, please leave it on the chat bar in this broadcast so that it will help us. Thank you very much, Didi, for bringing that very great one that helped us to expand the course of this discussion. And we have many, many here that are saying both. Some people are saying it is the woman. I wonder why you think it's the woman alone. And then here's an angle. For me, I don't think it is either the man alone or the woman alone. None of them have the power singly to do that. The only appropriate thing is that they have an agreement if numbers are the issue. And then whatever numbers they agree, they should also remember to let God prevail relating to how many children they're going to have. Okay, for example, for between Sister Meriba and I, my own is 1, her own is 10, then we have 3. So yeah, can't you see that God are taking position of that at this point? But the point is that we discussed it. We knew where we were going. We decided to say, let God prevail. That was our conclusion. Now, another thing that is critical why couples should think about the number of children is that there's a particular age and there's also a health condition, a physiological condition that will not allow a woman to continue to have several children, pregnancies. I mean, that will make pregnancy very dangerous for the woman. So those are issues that should be considered. And that's why some of these things should be talked about. A woman's health may not be such that she will be able to take in additional pregnancies after maybe the first 1 or 2, or maybe the number 5. It might be unhealthy, totally dangerous for her life to have another one. So those are the things that must come into consideration, and those are some of the reasons why this needs to be discussed. Okay, so I appreciate everyone who have come thus far on this and what have been contributed. What I would like to do now is to pull up the comments and questions that people have added here, and then we'll use them to expand this discussion. George Blue Kelly, who was among the first people to come on board here, said, marriage is an egalitarian union. So both the man and the woman should both decide how many children they wish to have. That is my thought. Exactly. Thank you. And we have, thank you, George, for bringing that up and supporting the cause of providing understanding for this person. Okay. And someone else, a Facebook user just said, and you become you will be shown as a Facebook user if you are viewing a live broadcast from a group. So probably this person is viewing from Dating and Marriage Question and Answers group on Facebook. And as soon as you are viewing a live program on Facebook from a group, Facebook will hide your identity. But if you give permission to StreamYard, then Facebook will know. So one of the things you can do is to also give us your name when you answer such questions in future. If you are viewing our live broadcast from a group, you can say this and give your answer and say, here is my name. Or you give permission to StreamYard so that Facebook will permit StreamYard to show your name when you ask a question. Okay. Benjamin Ng said, great job. Thank you, Benjamin, for being with us on this. And George Blue Kelly, I'm sure, relating to some of the things I said, I agree with you. It is a topic that should be discussed in the early days of dating. Okay. If you remember, I made that mention that this issue should be discussed during dating so that you can even stop the dating relationship if peradventure you are not able to have an agreement at this point. Okay. And then George Blue Kelly also added a question. He said, my question is, at what age does financial stability no longer matters before you get married? Okay, great question. At what age does financial stability no longer matter before you get married. Now, this is a great one. The suggestion and supposition to this is that um, should we wait for financial stability forever before getting married? And for many people, financial stability is not going to come so early or easy. Now, what can someone do? Okay, so this is a tricky question. I'll just say something in passing and bring this again for a more popular discussion. And I would like George Blue Kelly to place this on Dating and Marriage Question and Answers group on Facebook so that others of our people can add the opinion. But personally, for me, is that um, financial stability is important before marriage. But I will not say stability in such a way that you have everything you want. For me, a potential to be financially capable, the opportunity to be financially capable, the skills that will make you financially capable are more important than maybe how much money someone has. I want you to know this. Your skills, the capability, the ability to provide, to work and make income is more important before starting a business than how much cash you have, because whatever cash you have can be removed in one day. One action, one mistake, one foolish act, one challenge or problem, or even a disaster, all kinds of things, and then that will be the end of that money. But your financial capability. So to me, it is not about stability per se, but it is more of potentiality and capability, not stability, but capability. Do you have the capability to earn income? Do you have a skill? Do you have the education that can provide you with the qualification to do certain jobs? Do you have a skill to create a product, a service, a program or a project that can make money? Do you have those kind of resources? Those should matter more than the stability itself. So financial capability, in my own mind here, is that you do have what it takes to be able to find work and earn income more than how much money you really have. Okay, and George also asked and made additional comments. He said, if it is during dating, they should consensually end the relationship. Exactly. So yes, if it is, this is the question that came. Who should, in the case of the woman, who they are not having any agreement, according to Didi, the question that Didi asked, which was important. George, to that question is saying if it is during dating, they should simply consensually end that relationship. But if it is in marriage, I don't think it's enough to end the marriage. But both individual need to understand that sometimes love is a compromise. Very beautiful, George. I love this. Love is a compromise. Both partner needs to compromise and meet the other halfway, where both are satisfied. Both parties. I would like to repeat this because it's so beautiful. If the couple are not able to have agreement in their relationship because on how many children they should have, if it is during dating, they should tactfully, they should, in agreement without quarrel from anyone, cut that relationship. But if they are already married, they need to know that love is a compromise and that they need to meet each other halfway. And one of the things you can put in between that is to allow God to prevail. And when God prevails in your life, then whatever happens next, He's going to give you support for it. And whatever happens, you can handle it, because that let God prevail is also an agreement that both of you have reached. It's a form of agreement where you say, let God prevail in the matter. So, this is very wonderful. I so much feel so happy with all those who are able to come to this broadcast today, and all the beautiful comments and responses that have been given to the tricky question of who should decide how many children a couple should have, the man or the woman. And again, if the couple do not agree, what should happen? What will the woman do? And George Blue Kelly helped us very much when he gave this answer. I'd like to pull it up again, and then we will be concluding our broadcast from that point. If it is in a dating relationship, the partner should consensually end the relationship. But if it is in marriage, I don't think it's enough. George says he doesn't think it's enough to end the marriage because of that, but both individuals need to understand that sometimes love is a compromise. Both partners should need to compromise and meet the other halfway, where both are satisfied. And I add, at this point, both of you, your agreement might be, let God prevail. Let God prevail. When you can allow God to prevail, because He's the author of marriage, He's the author of relationships. If you give Him a chance to prevail in these matters, it helps. Thank you very much for being with us today. Next week, we will also come your way with another question. At this same time, we'll come your way with another question or that people are asking on the group Dating and Marriage Question and Answers on Facebook. So welcome once again to Dating and Marriage Question and Answers with Francis Meribe, the author of Dating 101, Principles and Practice of Dating, and then or how to know who to marry. You can also look for my other book, Foundation for Joyful Relationships, which gives you 13 foundational elements you need to understand and deal with to be able to decide to get married. Those will help. And then you also can get my book. It's an ebook. If you buy any of these books, the Dating 101 or Foundation for Joyful Relationships, you get a copy of an ebook edition of Wrong Reasons for Getting Married as a gift. That's another book that I have. So thank you all very much for coming. And George left one additional comment and say, thank you for answering my question. I haven't really thought about it that way. Capability and potentiality over stability. It really broadened my mind. Yes, exactly. Thank you, George. And that is why we are here. We are here for you. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, to make sure that I can expand the scope and capability and capacity of the young people, the rising generation, to do more. Because if the rising generation do not do more, we will lose this world. We will lose Africa. But if the rising generation can do more, we will have all things that we want. And this is my calling and my mission, to help you from all aspects of your life, from personal development, dating and marriage, personal empowerment, and then to remind you of your responsibility to be a leader, so that you can midwife the renaissance of Africa. Until we meet you again next week, thank you very much. Stay blessed and be happy. Thank you and have a great time.